bring on to the New York app and come to the interview.
What?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that provided you ample time to grab tea and coffee. It's time now to invite all of you to take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. And as you're settling down and we get ready for the next segment, it's time now to add a little bit of musical delight to our proceedings. We have a vibrant set of musicians on stage. They've been regaling us with some fantastic music. And now they have a final performance for us before we move into the next segment. This is Neo Symphony Ensemble. Let's take a look at what they have in store. you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Neo Symphony Ensemble for you, and we're truly delighted they could join us to add a little bit of musical delight to our proceedings here this morning. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for us to hear directly from the migrants. We're about to now further illustrate the profound impact of the program by now inviting a few representatives to join us on stage, and they will be giving us a glimpse into their stories. So first and foremost, I'd now like to invite Mr. Laden, who is from Ampara. He's a caseworker for the migrants, and he's about to join us now and take us through the rest of the proceedings. It's over to you. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome him on stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Ladan from SWORD organization, Ampara district, Akarpattu. அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்தை பொறுத்தவரையில் வெளிநாடு செல்கின்ற புலம்பெயர் தொழிலாளர்களில் எண்ணிக்கையில் 6வது இடத்தை அம்பாறை மாவட்டம் இருக்கின்றது. 6வது பிளேஸில் இருக்கின்றது. தொழிலாளர்கள் வெளிநாடு செல்கின்றது. அந்த அடிப்படையில் பல்வேறு பிரச்சனைகளையும் சவால்களையும் முகம் கொடுத்து புலம்பெயர் தொழிலாளர்களும் அவர்கள் குடும்பங்களும் பல்வேறு சட்ட ரீதியான பிரச்சனை, பாதுகாப்பான முறையற்ற விதமாக அவர்கள் வெளிநாடு செல்வது போன்ற பல்வேறு பிரச்சனைகளை எதிர்நோக்கியிருந்தார்கள். அந்த அடிப்படையிலே 2013ஆம் ஆண்டு 2013 அந்த சேவ் லேபர் மைக்ரேஷன் ப்ரொஜெக்ட் திட்டத்தின் ஊடாக, குறிப்பாக எஸ்டிசி நிறுவனத்தின் நிதியுதவியின் ஊடாக அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்திலே 2013ஆம் ஆண்டு தொடக்கம் 2020ஆம் ஆண்டு வரையிலான காலப்பகுதியில் சேவ் லேபர் மைக்ரேஷன் ப்ரொஜெக்ட் வந்து அம்பாறையிலே இம்ப்ளிமெண்டேஷன் செய்யப்பட்டது. குறிப்பாக இந்த செயல் திட்டத்தில் 4 component இந்த செயல் திட்டத்தில் அமல் செய்யப்பட்டது. ஒன்று வந்து வெளிநாடு செல்கின்றவர்களுக்கு சரியான தகவல் வழங்கி அவர்கள் பாதுகாப்பான முறையில் வெளிநாடு செல்வது சம்பந்தமான தகவல்களை வழங்குவது, இன்ஃபர்மேஷனை வழங்குறது. இரண்டாவது லீகல் அசிஸ்டன்ட், குறிப்பாக சட்ட ரீதியாக வெளிநாடுகளிலோ அல்லது புலம்பெயர்ந்து ரிட்டர்ன்ஸ் நாட்டுக்கு திரும்பி வரவர்கள் எதிர்நோக்கின்ற சட்ட ரீதியான பிரச்சனைகளுக்கு தேவையான சட்ட ரீதியான ஆலோசனைகள் வழிகாட்டுதலை செய்கிறது எங்கள் 2வது கொம்போனண்டாக வேலை செய்தோம். 3வது சைக்கோ சோஷியல் சப்போர்ட், கூடுதலாக வெளிநாட்டிலிருந்து மீள வருகின்ற ரிட்டர்னிஸ் மைக்ரண்ட் ஒர்க்கர்ஸ் பிரச்சனைகளை அடையாளம் கண்டு அவங்களுக்கான சைக்கோ சோஷியல் சம்பந்தமான வேலை திட்டங்களில் ஈடுபட்டிருந்தோம். 4வது கொம்போனன்ட் ரிட்டர்ன் அண்ட் இன்டிகிரேஷன், கூடுதலாக வந்து வெளிநாட்டிலிருந்து மீள வருகின்ற ரிட்டர்னிஸ் மைக்ரண்ட் ஒர்க்கர்ஸுக்கு தேவையான ஃபைனான்சியல் லிட்டரசி, அவங்களுக்கான விடி வொகேஷனல் ட்ரைனிங் போன்ற ஸ்கில் டெவலப்மெண்ட் சம்பந்தமான செயல் திட்டங்களை நாங்கள் செய்து வந்தோம். இந்த 4 கொம்போனன்ட் ஊடாக நாங்கள் அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்திலே பல்வேறு அச்சீவ்மெண்ட்டை நாங்கள் அடைந்திருந்தோம். குறிப்பாக பாதுகாப்பாக அவர்கள் வெளிநாடு செல்வது சம்பந்தமான தகவல் வழங்குவதனூடாக அவர்கள் இப்பொழுது பாதுகாப்பான முறையில் வெளிநாடு செல்வதற்கான ஒரு ஏற்பாடு செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கின்றது. அதே போல அவர்கள் சட்ட ரீதியாக எதிர்கொள்கின்ற பிரச்சனைகளை இலகுவாக இலங்கை வெளிநாட்டு வேலைவாய்ப்பு பணியகத்தினூடாக சென்று அந்த பிரச்சனைகளை தீர்வு காணக்கூடிய அந்த வழிகாட்டுதல்களை அந்த திட்டத்தினூடாக நாங்கள் செய்திருந்தோம். அப்படி பல்வேறு அச்சீவ்மெண்ட்டை நாங்கள் இந்த கடந்த 2013 to 2020 வரையான காலப்பகுதியில் இந்த சேவ் லேபர் மைக்ரேஷன் திட்டத்தினூடாக பல்வேறு விடயங்களை நாங்கள் செய்திருந்தோம். குறிப்பாக இந்த செயல் திட்டம் 2020 முடியும் கட்டத்தில் குறிப்பாக நாங்கள் சுவர் நிறுவனத்தினால் அமல் செய்யப்பட்ட 4 கொம்போனண்ட்டையும் மீண்டும் தொடர்ந்தும் அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்திலே கொண்டு செல்ல வேண்டும் என்ற அடிப்படையில் நாங்கள் ஒரு சஸ்டைனபிலிட்டியாக அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்திலே 30 மைக்ரோ சொசைட்டி நாங்கள் 2019 நாங்கள் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணினோம். 2019 30 மைக்ரோ சொசைட்டியை வந்து வில்லேஜ் லெவலில் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணினோம். இந்த மைக்ரோ சொசைட்டியில் கூடுதலாக ரிட்டர்னிஸ், அதே மாதிரி இன்சேவிஸ் ஃபெமிலிஸ் வந்து அதில் மெம்பராக இருந்து செயல்படுறாங்க. கூட நாங்கள் 2019 கூட மைக்ரோ சொசைட்டிக்கு தேவையான கெப்பாசிட்டி பில்டிங் ட்ரைனிங் கொடுத்து அவங்க சுயமாக நாங்கள் திட்டத்தினூடாக செய்யப்பட்ட செயற்பாடுகளை அவர்கள் கொண்டு செல்வதற்கு அவர்களை தயார்படுத்தி தற்பொழுது அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்திலே 36 மைக்ரோ சொசைட்டி வந்து சிறம்பட தங்களது சேவைகளை இந்த புலம்பெயர் தொழிலாளர் குடும்பங்களுக்கு ஆற்றி வருகின்றாங்க. அந்த அடிப்படையில் இந்த இடத்தில் நாங்கள் எஸ்டிசி ஸ்விஸ் டெவலப்மெண்ட் கோஆபரேஷன் நிறுவனத்துக்கு இந்த இடத்தில் நாங்கள் அம்பாறை மக்கள் சார்பாகவும் ஸ்வாட் நிறுவன சார்பாகவும் நன்றி சொல்ல கடமைப்பட்டிருக்கிறோம். அந்த அடிப்படையில் நாங்கள் அந்த மைக்ரண்ட் சொசைட்டி உருவாக்கப்பட்ட மைக்ரண்ட் சொசைட்டி எவ்வாறு இயங்குவது சம்பந்தமான விடயங்களை உங்களுக்கு தருவதற்காக அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்திலே செயற்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கிற மைக்ரண்ட் சொசைட்டி லீடர்ஸ் ஆயிஷா அவர்கள் தங்களது மைக்ரண்ட் சொசைட்டி எவ்வாறு வில்லேஜ் லெவலில் ஃபங்க்ஷன் பண்ணுறது சம்பந்தமான விடயங்கள் தருவதற்கு மைக்ரண்ட் சொசைட்டி லீடர்ஸ் ஆயிஷா அவர்களை அன்புடன் அழைக்கின்றோம்.
அனைவருக்கும் அன்பின் பணிவும் அஸ்ஸலாமு அலைக்கும். குட் மார்னிங், ஆய்பவான், வணக்கம். நான் எனது பெயர் ரஃபீக் ஆயிஷா. நான் சம்மாந்துறை, இந்த அம்பாறை மாவட்டத்தின் சம்மாந்துறை பிரதேச செயலகத்தில் இருந்து புலம்பெயர் தொழிலாளர் சங்கத்தின் தலைவியாக இவ்விடத்தில் உங்களிடம் பேச வந்திருக்கின்றேன். நாங்கள் ஒரு சங்கமாகத்தான் இருந்து தற்போது 5 சங்கங்களை உருவாக்கி தற்போது 36 சங்கங்களை உருவாக்கி இச்சங்கத்தில் நாங்கள் எல்லோரும் சுயமாகவே செயற்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். இச்சங்கத்தை உருவாக்கி எங்களுக்கு தந்த சுவாட் நிறுவனமானது தற்போது அவர்களுக்கு நானும் நன்றி செல்ல கடமைப்பட்டிருக்கின்றேன். மேலும் எங்களது சங்கத்தின் குடும்பங்கள், புலம்பெயர்ந்த குடும்பங்கள் அனைவரும் இணைந்து இச்சங்கத்தை ஒருமைப்பாட்டுடன் நடத்துகின்றோம். அத்துடன் வெளிநாடு சென்ற புலம்பெயர்ந்த குடும்பங்கள் ஏற்படுகின்ற பிரச்சினைகளை இனங்கண்டு நாங்கள் தங்கள் போய் வீடு வீடாக சென்று அவர்களின் பிரச்சினைகளை இனங்கண்டு அவர்களை எவ்விடத்தில் சென்று வெளிநாட்டு வேலை பணியத்திற்கு தீர்வு காண வேண்டுமென்றால் இல்லை பிரதேச செயலத்துக்கு தீர்வு காண வேண்டுமென்றால் அவ்விடத்திற்கு அவர்களை அழைத்து சென்று அவர்கள் மூலம் பிரச்சினைகளை இனங்கண்டு அவர்களுக்கு தீர்வு வழங்கி வருகின்றோம். மேலும் தலைவராகிய நாங்கள் பெண்கள் சில பிரச்சினைகளை செல்லாமல் இருக்கின்றார்கள். அந்த அவ்விடத்துக்கு நாங்கள் சென்று பெண்கள் மனதில் நுழைந்து அவர்களுடைய பிரச்சினைகளை இனங்கண்டு அவர்களை நாங்கள் தெரிவிக்க வேண்டியவற்றை தெரிவிக்கின்றோம். மேலும் நான் இவ்விடத்தில் இவ்வளவு தைரியமாக பேசுவதற்கான காரணம் எனது சுவாட் அமைப்புக்கு நான் நன்றி செல்ல வேண்டும். பெண்களாகிய நாங்கள் எல்லோரும் வெளிநாடு சென்று புலம்பெயர்ந்த குடும்பங்கள் உள்ள பிரச்சனைகளை இனங்கண்டு எல்லோரிடத்திலும் தெரியப்படுத்த வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டு எனது சிறிய உரையை முடித்து நன்றி. வசலாம்.
We thank our migrant workers for sharing their perspectives. We're now about to invite another stakeholder. We have Mrs. Isadin here, and she is a project coordinator from the Kandy district. We'd like to invite her now to share a few words with regards to the human impact of this program.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ayubowan. Good morning. Mama Sinhalin kata karana. Api Madhyama Palate Mahanur district ke Rajanawana ayatana pashe Swiss Adharaka ayatana tikka ආරක්ෂක ශ්‍රම සංක්‍රමණය ව්‍යාපෘතියේ හල්කරුවන් වශයෙන් අවුරුදු 2ක් අපි මේ ව්‍යාපෘතියට සම්බන්ධ වුණා. ඒකෙදි ගගන සහෝදරයා කිව්වා වගේ අපි බිම් මට්ටමේ මේ තොරතුරු බෙදා හදා ගන්න, මේක ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න ප්‍රධානතම සාධකයක් විදිහට අපි විගමනික සමිති බිහි කෙරුවා. ඒකත් එක්කම අපගේ කාර්යභාරය උනේ මෙම ව්‍යාපෘතිය බිම් මට්ටමින් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න අපිට බිම් මට්ටමින් කරන්න පාලමක් හැටියට මෙම සිවිල් සංවිධාන වන අපිට ක්‍රියා කරන්න සිද්ධ වුණා. ඒකද අපි ගොඩක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ රාජ්‍ය ආයතන, රාජ්‍ය නොවන ආයතන හරහා සේවාලාභී කියන්නේ සංක්‍රමිකයන් හට හරි ප්‍රවර්ධනය කරන්න, මේ ආරක්ෂක ශ්‍රම සංක්‍රමණය ප්‍රවර්ධනය කරන්න අවශ්‍ය පසුබිම සැකසීම. ඒකෙදි මම ඉතාමත් ගෞරවයෙන් සිහි කරන්න කැමති අපිත් එක්ක වැඩ කරපු රාජ්‍ය ආයතන විමර්ශනයේ ඉඳන් ප්‍රාදේශීය ග්‍රාම සේවා නිලධාරියාගේ සිටන් සියලුම රාජ්‍ය ආයතන ඒ වගේම රාජ්‍ය නොවන ආයතන ඒ වගේ අපි ජාලගත කිරීමක් මතින් තමයි අපි මේ වැඩේ කරන්නේ. ඒකත් එක්කම අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවටම සංවේදී වීම කියන්නේ රටේ සංක්‍රමික ප්‍රජාව කියන්නේ රණවිරුවන් වගේම රටවිරුවන් කියන එක ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඇත්තටම ගෞරවනීය පිරිසක්. රටේ අවශ්‍යතාවය මත රටට ප්‍රේෂණ ගේන්න ඒගොල්ලන් සෑහෙන කැපවීමක් කරනවා. ඒ කැපවීම තුළින්ම අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ව අගී කිරීමක් වගේම ඒගොල්ලන්ට සහාය වීම අපේ යුතුකමක්. ඒ අභිනය එකම අපි මේ ශේෂ්ත්‍රයේ වැඩ කරනකොට අපිට බොහෝ වෙලාවට දුක්ඛිත කතා වගේම මේ සංක්‍රමණය නිසා රටේ මෙන්ම තමුන්ගේ ජීවිතේ හොඳ සාක්ෂාත් කර ගැනීමට සංවර්ධනය සඳහා හිටපු පිරිසකුත් තියෙනවා. එහෙම ඉලක්ක ළඟා කරගත්ත පිරිසකුත් තියෙනවා. මේකෙදි අපි සංක්‍රමණිකයන් වශයෙන් විදේශගත වෙන කෙනෙක් දැනුම හැකියාව ඒ වගේ නිපුණතාවය හරිම වැදගත්. ඒ නිපුණතාවය කොයිතරම් දුරට සහාය දෙනවද ඒ තරමින් අපිට ඒ වෘත්තිකයන් වශයෙන් ඒගොල්ලන්ට එහි ගිහිල්ලා ඒ වෘත්තියේ නියමාකාරව ඉෂ්ට කර ගැනීමට තියෙන අවස්ථාවක් වඩාත් පහසුයි. ඒකෙදි අපිට විශේෂයෙන් මතක් කරන්න කැමති හෙල්විතාස් ආයතනය, ඒ වගේම යූඩීඩ් ආයතනය අත්වල බැඳගෙන සේවාවන් සපයන අපි වගේ සේවායන් සපයන පිරිසට සෑහෙන පුහුණුවක් ලබා දීලා අපි බලගන්නලා තමයි මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය තුළින් අපි ශේෂ්ත්‍ර මට්ටමේ වැඩ කරන්නේ. ඉතින් මම කැමති වේලාව වැඩිපුර ගන්න නැතුව මගේ මේ අපේ මේ ගමනේදී සාර්ථක කරගත්ත ජීවිතය සාර්ථක කරගත්ත විදේශගත ඇවිල්ලා ආයෙ නැවත පැමිණිලා ආයෙත් නැවත ලංකාවට එම වෘත්තිය තවත් දියුණු කරගෙන වෘත්තිමය විදිහට යොදවගෙන තමුන්ගේ දරුවන්ගේ තමුන්ගේ පවුලේ කටයුතු ඒ වගේ ආදර්ශමත් විදිහට ඉන්න පුද්ගලයෙක් අඳුරලා දෙන්න. අපි ලබපු ලොකු ජයග්‍රහණයක් තමයි එවැනි පුද්ගලයන්ගේ දත්ත අපිට රැස් කරන්න පුළුවන් වුණා. ඒ වගේම යාමට සිටින කියන්නේ පෙර විගමන කියන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට අපිට පුළුවන් ආයතන මට්ටමින් උදව් කරන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ හැකියාවන් සහ නිපුණතාවයන් දියුණු කරගෙන වෘත්තීය මට්ටමේ කියන්නේ පුහුණු ශ්‍රමිකයන් විදිහට අපිට ඔහොම යොමු කරන්න මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ අපිට උදව් කරා සියලුම ආයතන. ඒකට අපි අදට ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපි සතුටු වෙනවා අපේ මේ ක්‍රියාදාමය තුළින් මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ මිනිස් වෙළඳාම සහ ජාවාරම් කියන ඒ අවදානම ලංකාවේ අවදානම් දිස්ත්‍රික්ක තුළින් දෙවෙනි තැනට තියෙන මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කය. එතකොට අපි ගොඩක් වතුකරත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන පිරිසක් අපිට පුළුවන් වුණා දැනට ඒගොල්ලන්ට සාහන සේවාවක් ලබා දීලා දැන් ඉන්න අලුත් පරපුරට තාක්ෂණයත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒ ගමන යන්න අපිට උදව් කරා. මම ආරාධනා කරනවා මෙම වැඩසටහනේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට අඳුරලා දෙන ඒ ජීවිතේ ගොඩක් සාර්ථක භාවයට පත් කරගත්ත අමීර් ඛාන් මහතාව මම ආරාධනා කරනවා ඔහුගේ කතාව ඔයාලට ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න කියලා. ස්තුතියි.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon. අයිබෝවන් වණක්. මම අවුරුදු 23ක් සෞදි අරාබියේ හැබැයි ඔය කියන තරම් ලේසි නෑ. කවුරුත් හිතන්නේ ගිහිලා ආවට පස්සේ එන්නේ දිනුන තමයි දකින්නේ. ඒ දිනුවට එන්න කොච්චර මඩක් කනවාද කියන එක ඊ මිනිස්සු තමයි දන්නේ. ඒ සම්බන්ධව මම කියන්නේ මගේ දිනුනෙත් විදිහ මම කියන්න කොහොමද වෙන්නේ කියලා. පළවෙනිම අපි රට විදේශගත වෙනවනේ. අපි යම් වෘත්තීය ධර්මයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ වෘත්තිය විතරක් මදි හරියට. අන්ටි වෙනවා. තව වෘත්ති දෙක තුනක් ධර්මයක් තියෙනවා නම් ගොඩාක් මම වෙල්නස් ක්ලිනික් දෙක ගියා. ඒ ගිහිල්ලා මම විශේෂ කළා. PT සිල් ට්‍රේනින් වගේ දේවල් කළා. ස්විමින් කළා. මම ට්‍රේන් විශේෂයෙන් සෞදි අරාබියාවේ රටවල් වල මිනිස්සු සිල් ට්‍රේනින් වල ස්විමින් වගේ දේවල් මොනවා හරි ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් උනට ඉර යන කෙනා කැමති. ඉතින් මෙහින් යනකොට Taman දන්න දේ විතරක් නෙමෙයි තව ටිකක් වැඩිපුර මොනවා හරි දෙයක් ඉගෙන ගන්නවා නම් ගොඩක් වටිනවා. ඒ විතරක් නෙමෙයි සමාජයට උතන මෙඩිකල් සයිඩ් එකෙන් යනකොට තියෙන ඔටිසම් සයිඩ් එක. ඒකට ඩවුන් සින්ඩ්‍රෝම් ඒ වගේ කෙයාර් ටේකර්ස් වැඩ ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. තමන්ගේ ජොබ් එකෙන් පස්සේ පාර්ට් ටයිම් එකක් කරනකොට තමන්ගේ ජොබ් එකේ අර මූලික ලැබෙන පඩියට වඩා වැඩිපුර හොයන්න පුළුවන් පාර්ට් ටයිම් එකක්. ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් ඉතින් රට ගියාට පස්සේ මූලික වැඩ කරනවා ලංකාවේ වඩා. හරිද? ඒ වගේ තමයි මම දැන් ළමයි තුන්දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. පළවෙනි එකා දැන් බෙලස් වල 4 වෙනි අවුරුද්ද මෙඩිකල් කොලෙජ් එකේ. දෙවෙනි පුතා නර්සිං කරනවා. දෙවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ පාස් අවුට් වෙනවා. දුව IT සයිඩ් එකේ දැන් ෆස්ට් ඉයර් එකේ මෙහි කැම්පස් එකේ ප්‍රයිවට් කරනවා. මම ඒ ගිහින් ආවට පස්සේ උගත් දේවල් හම්බ කරගත්තා. ඒ කලියර් පාර්ට් ටයිම් ජොබ් වලින් තමයි. මගේ මේන් ඒකට වඩා මම පාර්ට් ටයිම් ජොබ් වලින් තමයි කරගත්තා. ඉතින් මේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා කොහොමද කාටවත් ප්‍රශ්න වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ එනකොට ප්‍රශ්න නැති කෙනෙක් නෑ. මෙහි ඉන්න අයටත් ප්‍රශ්න වෙනවා. ඒ වුණාට මේ සංගමයෙන් මේ නිලධාරීන් ඇවිල්ලා අපේ ගෙදරට ඒ නෝනව කන්ටැක්ට් කරගෙන ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ වෙන්න ඕන දේවල් මොනවද ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් ඒගොල්ලන්ට උදව් උපකාර කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම උපදෙස් දීලා තියෙනවා. මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. හම්බ කරගෙන එන සල්ලි හම්බ කළාට වැඩක් නෑ. මිහයිල හරියට ඒක අපි හරිය විදිහට විලං කරේ නැත්තම් මෙහි ගේන සල්ලි අපි මෙහි තව මොනවා හරි දෙයක් කරලා තමන්ගේ මෙහි ජීවිතය ගත කරන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට අපි යමක් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒතකොට ඒක තමයි මම කළේ. එහෙන් හම්බ කරපු සල්ලි මෙහි යොදවලා මෙහි ඉන්න ෆැමිලි එක ජීවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට උපදෙස් දුන්නේ මේ කණ්ඩායම තමයි. මම යන කාලේ එහෙම එකක් තිබ්බේ නෑ. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි ඒක පටන් ගත්තේ. මම හිතනවා ඒක මේ අනිත් දිස්ත්‍රික් වලටත් මොනවා නම් හොඳයි කියලා. දැන් මම හිතන්නේ දිස්ත්‍රික් පහකට කොහෙද ඒක වෙන්නේ. ඊට අනිත් එකවත් වෙලා ඒ මිනිස්සුන්ටත් ඒ වගේ මඟ පෙන්වීමක් කළොත් හොඳයි කියලා මම හිතනවා. ඕක තමයි මගේ ස්ටෝරි එක. ඉතින් මිනිස්සු දකින්නේ රට ගිහලා ආවට පස්සේ මේ මිනිහා දිනුනෙලා ඉන්නේ තමයි. ඒක පිටපස්සේ තියෙන කතාව දන්නේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සු තමයි. කොහොම වෙතත් අපි හැමදේ අපේ නාම පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕනේ චැලෙන්ජස් වලට මුහුණ දෙන්න. රට යනවා කිව්වහම තමන් දැනගන්න ඕනේ. තමන්ගේ ඒ රටේ භාෂාව, නීතිය, සංස්කෘතිය ඒ ඔක්කොම දැනගෙන යන එක හොඳයි. සමහරවල් මෙහෙම බෙහෙත් අරගෙන යනවා ඒ රටට ගෙනියන්නද. ඒ ගැන දැනුමක් නැහැ. යන කට්ටියට. ඒ භාෂාව වරින් පරෙන් කියන එකක් දන්නේ නැහැ. වක් වෙලාවට හවුස් මේට්ලා වගේ යන අය මම කතා කරන්නේ මිලිස් එක. ඒතරට වගේ නෙමෙයි. හවුස් මේට්ලා වගේ යන අයට දන්නේ මේ කොහොමද කතා කරන්නේ මොකද භාෂාව මේ කිසිම දෙයක් දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ හදිස්සියක් වුණාම කාටද කන්ටැක්ට් කරවන්න කියන විදිහත් ඒගොල්ලන් දන්නේ නැහැ. අන්න ඒ වගේ අයව තමයි පුහුණු කරලා ගොඩක් ඉස්සරහට යවන්න ඕනේ. ඔය තමයි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ විශේෂයෙන්ම අනිත් රට ගිහිල්ලා අවුරුදු 20 ගානක් ඉඳලා එනවා අපි අපේ හොඳ කාලේ එහෙ ගත කරලා ඉන්නේ. අපි යනකොට ළමයි පොඩි. එනකොට ළමයි මෙහෙනකොට කසාද බැඳලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ වගේ අපි ගොඩක් දේවල් කැප කරනවා. අපිට ඒ ළමයිගේ එක සෙල්ලම් කරන්න ඉන්න ඒ කාලේ නැහැ. ඒ මම ගිහිල්ලා ඇවිල්ලා ඉවරයි. දැන් ගිහිල්ලා එන කට්ටිය යන කට්ටිය ඒ වගේ ඒ සම්බන්ධවත් පොඩ්ඩක් හිතන්න ඕනේ. මගේ ලයිෆ් එක මම සක්සස් කරගත්තා. අනිත් අයත් ඒ වගේ කරන්න කියලා මම කියන්නේ. Thank you very much මට මේ අවස්ථාව ලබා දීම සම්බන්ධයෙන්.
To Mr. Amir Khan, thank you for sharing your story. For those of us who might not follow along with Sinhala or Tamil, we do have a brief summary, ladies and gentlemen, to help us out with what was told in a nutshell. We have from the Swiss Embassy, Rangita Balasurya. A warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much to all these migrant workers who are present here and also all the case workers who have been working with all the migrant workers. Meanwhile, let me give you a very quick summary in general of what they have spoken. I might not go in detail into nitty-gritties of all, but I will give you a general summary of what they mentioned. So as we all know, in this migration process, like it's something like an oyster who doesn't know the value or the price of the pearl. So migration is also like that. Whatever the remittances that they earn, probably they might not know how wealthy a nation could be made through their earnings. So basically what has happened here is, in the first case that you have seen, it's a case from the Sri Lanka Safe Migration Programs, third phase. During that third phase, an Ampara, an organization called SWOT, this organization had been helping to develop some sort of a migrant worker society, and this lady was the migrant worker society leader in that rural area. So she was actually narrating on how these migrant worker societies peer support supported them in order to build their livelihoods and also to understand what are the difficulties that their other peer groups also would go through, and how her knowledge in the migration process would support all the others. So basically, according to him, I mean, these sort of migrant worker society groups are being created as a peer support group, but those are self-functioning. So no one is actually giving any sort of a fund to them to, provide or to foster. They will have like an initial amount of money that they will have like a pool fund, I mean, in certain states of membership. But then later on, they will grow, or they will try to ensure that this migrant worker society group continues. So I'm really happy to see Mr. Ladan, as a case worker, you just explained your migrant worker society group is still functioning even after phase 3. It's a very great thing, big achievement. I would like a big applause for them. And also on another note, it was not mentioned by them, but I just wanted to let you know, the government was so kind at the time when we were transforming into our entire journey, like we announced them that we are ending this program. The government was so supportive. They took their initiative and they took all these migrant worker societies under their purview immediately, and also that was another function of the labor migration policy as well. So they did that part too. Now, the next case was from a project coordinator who arrived from Kandy. She was explaining on a success story of a migrant worker from Kandy who had actually took some sort of a very difficult journey in Saudi Arabia, and then he was also explaining that the journey was not really a smooth one, although people think when migrants go abroad, they will bring a lot of money, they are wealthy, they will sometimes lose some sort of benefits that are coming from the government, but still it is not the same. So real challenges are still there. So he had been explaining how best he had saved his money and invested such money in his family, and also today he's a very proud father with 3 children, am I correct? 2 children who are educated mainly in healthcare sector. So one in Belarus and the other person is also studying nursing or something. So I'm really happy to see all these success stories, and they are from the SLMP phase 4. So thank you so much for your presence, and I hope the audience got some generous sort of a summary directly from the migrant workers here. Thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you very much to Rangita for providing us with a brief summary of the journeys that our migrant workers shared on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, now that we've heard directly from the migrant workers, we'd also like to showcase before you a brief video highlighting the direct benefits that the Safe Labour Migration Program has brought to migrant workers and their families at the grassroots level. So may I now invite you to turn your attention to the screen as we take a look at these positive changes.
With the policy in place, real change begins where it matters most, at the community level. SLMP, in collaboration with local partners, has worked tirelessly to bring these commitments to life, creating a foundation of safety and security for migrant workers and their families. SLMP's financial literacy programs have been transformative for migrant workers. These workshops teach workers to manage their earnings effectively, creating financial plans to ensure stability for their families while they work abroad. Equipped with this knowledge, migrant workers are now able to save, budget, and invest their hard-earned income, building a secure future for themselves and their families. SLMP's impact extends to protecting workers from fraud and exploitation. Local support networks have mobilized to offer advice, education, and a place for migrant workers to share their concerns. Knowing they have a supportive community to turn to, workers feel more empowered to face challenges, preventing situations that may have once left them vulnerable. A significant development under SLMP has been the training of Foreign Employment Development Officers, or FEDOs. These officers are now able to provide legal and psychosocial aid to migrant workers, supporting those facing difficult situations. FEDOs have become trusted resources, helping migrant workers access vital legal and mental health support, offering reassurance during their journey abroad and back home. The Sahana Piasa Centers, further supported by SLMP, offer critical mental health services for struggling migrants. These centers provide a safe space where migrants can share their stories and find comfort through counseling, helping them stay strong during their time away from home. SLMP's collaboration with civil society organizations has also been invaluable, training community leaders as paralegals and human rights defenders. These advocates play a key role in helping migrants resolve legal challenges and providing financial literacy training. With these trusted community figures, migrants have a safety net of reliable, knowledgeable support. In remote areas, migrant information centers act as a beacon of hope and knowledge. These centers offer families of migrant workers easy access to critical resources, ensuring that they have the information and assistance they need when they need it most. Thanks to the dedication of SLMP and local partners, these initiatives have impacted thousands of lives across Sri Lanka. Ground-level support, combined with policy initiatives, has created a legacy of safety, security, and empowerment that will endure for generations to come. Together, they have laid the foundation for informed, safe labor migration, a journey that is no longer filled with fear, but with confidence and hope.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that video provided you with valuable insight into the tangible impact and the on-the-ground efforts of the Safe Labour Migration Program. I'm sure you agree that these interventions are all very vital to ensuring that migrant workers are not just protected, but also empowered. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready to move into our second panel discussion this morning. And in this next panel discussion, we will be diving deeper into the ground-level achievements of the Safe Labour Migration Program. Our discussion will focus on the lessons learned, the challenges faced, and the way forward as we continue our efforts to improve the lives of migrant workers. As I now read out the names of our panelists, I'd like them to come up and please join me on stage. We'd like to get started by inviting Additional General Manager, International Affairs at the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment, Mr. Senarath Yapa. Let's put our hands together for him. Joining us up next, we have General Secretary of the National Trade Union Federation, Mr. Padmasiri Ranavaka Arachi. A warm welcome to you. Up next, we'd like to warmly invite Ms. Viola Pereira, President of the Action Network for Migration Workers. Let's give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We're also happy to be joined by Ms. Avishka Kapugikiana. She's from Helvetas Swiss Intercorporation. A warm welcome to you as well. Let's put our hands together for our panelists as they join us up. Our final panelist is Ms. Chetana Disanaika. She is Foreign Employment Development Coordinator at the Ministry of Labour. So a warm welcome to you as well. With that being said, I'd also like to now invite our moderator for this session. Our moderator will be Ms. Amrita Muttaya. She is National Program Officer at the International Organization for Migration. And I now leave the discussion in her safe hands as we dive deeper into this topic. So with that being said, Amrita, it's over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, panelists, and also partners. Welcome to the second panel discussion for the day. The previous moderator was able to get some insights onto their hobbies of the panelists from the previous panel. Unfortunately, I did not have time, but something which I can vouch today is that my panelists are dedicated and passionate about migration, the subject of migration, and they are very much supportive of promoting regular migratory pathways. So on that note, we have a very diverse background of stakeholders here today. We have the government, we have the civil society, and also the trade union. So in this panel, I think we saw from the video as well, some of the information or key highlights we want to bring is about social protection measures, the importance of financial literacy, community resilience, gender considerations, and advocacy for migrant workers' rights. Some guidelines for the panel discussion, since we are running out of time. I will be posing one question each from each of the panelists, and following which let's try to stick to 5 minutes or less with your interventions, and I doubt we can open it up for an open forum discussion, but the idea here is to ensure that we appreciate the work of our stakeholders through this SLMP and to highlight the interventions they have made as part of this program. On that note, my first question is for you, Mr. Yapa. I mean, SLBFE does a lot of work with regard to pre-departure orientation, to skills development, to ethical recruitment. And one important area is social mechanisms, looking at social protection of migrant workers. I mean, we often inform Sri Lankans, we always tell them to take safe and regular migratory pathways, and which we say that it will enable migrant workers to be entitled for an insurance scheme. How does this insurance scheme works in reality? And what is the role of the Bureau in this process?
Thank you, Ms. Amrita. As you all know, one of the key objectives of the establishment of Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment by its Act number 20 of 1985 is to protect the rights of migrant workers and to ensure the welfare and well-being of the migrant workers and their family members. This is further witnessed by our national policy and action plan for migration on labor and employment 2023-2027 in the core area 2 that also emphasizes that the protection and welfare and well-being. So this is far back 1985, almost 14 years ago, our government has thought what is the importance of the rights of the migrant workers and their welfare and well-being. So in line with this social protection, if you look at, there are several measures that the government has been taken, and the legal pathways under this act is to get the Bureau registration, Foreign Employment Bureau registration. It is a legal requirement, it is the legal pathway. So anyone who gets this legal pathway or get the registration of the Bureau is entitled for an insurance. It's free of charge, and that has a range of benefit, not only from the repatriation and look after their at the safe houses and so on and so forth, but the compensation for their unfortunate incident for the dismissal of the life as well. So this is one aspect in terms of the social security systems we do have, and also we do have another insurance scheme for the domestic sector workers who are most vulnerable and who are leaving for the foreign employment in the Middle Eastern countries. This segment is female domestic sector workers, and this insurance scheme is employer paid insurance scheme. But of course now we are reviewing the benefits of this again. But these two insurance schemes we do have. And those who are not covered under this insurance scheme, we have a special arrangement that is called Workers' Welfare Fund. Again, we do have two options. One is local insurance, local workers' welfare fund. The other one is the overseas workers' welfare fund. Roughly, we are paying 1 billion rupees for this total expenses out of the overseas workers' welfare fund annually. Because those who are working are facing numerous, the hardship. As our previous, the migrant worker explained, it's not a smooth running in the, the entire migration cycle. So while they are working in abroad, if they face any consequence, any problem, so we are there to look after them. As Madam Padmini said previously, we are maintaining 15 employment and welfare sections in our mission. So all the expenses under this, we are paying out of the workers' welfare fund. And also those who are not covered under the insurance, we are paying their expenses locally under the local welfare fund. And as per the Bureau Act, 10% of our total income should be transferred to the local welfare fund to meet these expenses. So these are the basic, the arrangement that we have in terms of the social protection. But beyond that, we as a government have negotiated many BLAs to cover, to get the maximum benefit or the rather social security system when they are working in those countries. Mostly the formal sector are covered under this insurance benefit. If you look at all the countries that we are sending people to the Middle East, we are having almost all countries the BLAs. And of course, I am proud to say that we are now reviewing this BLA, especially with the assistance of ILO, because they are coming into the scene, and now we are analyzing what are the gaps there. Not only that, we are discussing how we can sign the ILO convention related to the migration, because sad to say we have not ratified any ILO convention related to migration, but that gap analysis is right now doing, because our prime objective is how to get into the maximum benefit, the social benefit that their nationals are enjoying as well to our country, because equal treatment are mostly not recognized all the labor receiving countries. These are the one salient the development recently we had under this project. And also, if you look at the reintegration part, in line with the sub-policy 2015, return and reintegration sub-policy, the Bureau has made several arrangements to economically empower our returnees. As Mr. Khan previously said, multi-purpose loan that is in place. We have made 500 million allocation for this purpose, and it is very actively running at the moment. Not only that, we have another arrangement to what we call the self-employment. We are giving a financial grant, not the loan. Earlier it was 50,000, now it increased up to 100,000. So we are having that in place. So anyone want to get the return, you want to get the self-employment, not only return, if someone is while in working, their relatives would like to start a self-employment, we are there to assist them. And also the entrepreneur developmentship. This is a very unique, what we call the program. We give financial support up to 2 million. So we are going to select maximum 5 from each divisional secretariat, and we do have 300 odd divisional secretariats. So we want to have a minimum, giving 2 million rupees to even upgrade the business plan as entrepreneurs. So these are some of the developments in terms of economical empowerment and social protection system. But as previous panelists said, there are a lot of room to be improved in terms of the social security system. And as a government, we are getting maximum projects to meet it. But again, we all are here have an equal responsibility to give their ideas, supports, and all other things. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Yapa, for that comprehensive answer of what the SLBF is currently doing and how we could all improve ourselves. I mean, as you said, it's not only a responsibility of the government. We all in this room here as stakeholders have an important role to play. In fact, now we have the national policy as well, and we have the return and reintegration policy as well. So it's up to us to look into the implementation of these policies. And also, as you also mentioned, the G2G agreements and also the MOUs, how you all are capacitating your government stakeholders as well to look at this social protection angle. On that note, just one follow-up question, Mr. Yapa. How do you see government, with regard to the G2G agreements and MOUs, how do you see your streamlining social protection practices of these migrant workers into these agreements?
Well, Amta, now we have two main recruitment MOUs, or rather one agreement with Israel and South Korea. So the South Korea agreement under the EPS system, far back 2000, we started in 2004. Up now it's been operated very well. And the important thing is that our government has signed an MOU with the South Korean government to get their national pension scheme benefit to our migrant workers as well. So now our workers are treated as the South Korean national under that scheme, because that's a huge achievement in terms of sending Sri Lankan workers to South Korea and intervention of the government. Unless our government was involved in that, we are unable to get that side. But now our Sri Lankans who are going to South Korea are getting this national insurance benefit when they return to Sri Lanka. And also Israel, they are also giving equal rights to, in terms of the social security, our workers. Because by entering this G2G agreement, our government intention is to promote decent work plus to get the equal treatment that their nationals are getting, our nationals as well. So I think the G2G agreements are more successful, and we have been sending a quite large number to these countries where we are having more benefits. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yapa, for that insights. Just moving on this topic, regular migration pathways, and creating awareness in this regard is very important. While we also promote regular migration pathways, there are also other aspects we look into with regard to financial literacy as well. So on that note, my next question is to Avishkar. So most of these migrant workers, they depart Sri Lanka due to heavy debt recovery to seek economic stability. So as a Swiss NGO operating in Sri Lanka,